Hello everyone and welcome to another audio commentary of Fancy Imaginary Star Trek Spaceships. The mod. Today I'm going to be bringing you a 1 vs 1 verse of Crisis and Dar. Looks like we have Dominion and Feds.
User joined your channel.
And we'll see who does what.
User left your channel.
Okay, so Crisis is the Dominion, Dar is Feds. We're playing on Duel 2. And there's the blue nebula. There's the other blue nebula. Also, this game should be showing my mouse. Apologize if you can hear that beeping. My computer is hot. Yeah, so anyway, I've changed my frap settings a bit. I made the contrast higher so you can see better, and you should be able to see my little mouse. So I can point at things and you won't wonder what the heck I'm pointing at. Here we see Dar going straight into his engineering and Antares yard. Usually this isn't completely necessary because it's an interesting thing that people will note is the Starship Chassis Level 1 research that unlocks your Intrepids and Monsoons takes exactly the same amount of time as it takes to build the Antares yard. So usually, unless you're going Sabres, you want to get your engineering and a mining, followed by your Antares and then the other mining. But it's not going to set them back more than, 30 seconds. And, it doesn't make too much difference on the mining. Meanwhile, Crisis has his small yard, and we're about to see where he's going with that. I would expect to see... there's several things you can do against Feds. He is going S2, though. That is not what I would have expected. I would have expected either bugs or B8. Or maybe bombers. Mostly just because the S2, it's going to be countered by both the Monsoon and the Intrepid. It's going to take extra damage from that. However, if he starts now and he starts building up fast, he can get a lot of them. And that might be enough to handle it. Let's see. Yeah, so S2 spam is one of those strategies that if you just start with it and go hard towards it, it's going to be difficult for the enemy to deal with, and you don't really have to worry about what they're doing. Sort of like Dode spam, Laval spam, just sort of a general all-around hard-to-counter strategy. Also things like bug spam, Rien spam. All the spammy things are like that, which is why the devs have been slowly working to make them easier to counter. So there's Science. He's probably getting... No, he isn't getting any ships at all. So he's going full warp and rush. I think you can afford to get 2 Intrepids, I think, without slowing your Starfleet command production at all. He's going Monsoon Intrepid, though, back and forth, which is really just a good way to save money off of the Intrepids, because the Intrepid is like 400 and the Monsoon's 300, and they both just give you that tiny bit of edge on your firepower. However, you see these scouts were dueling a bit. I think Dar really does need to scout out and see what Crisis is doing. That's just an important thing for the Dominion when you're playing against the Dominion, is because they're so inflexible with their production that you only have to see which prototype they built, and you'll have a pretty good idea of what they're doing. But that doesn't mean you can get away without it. You really do need to see what they're doing, because if they're going S2 spam, B8 spam, bugs, your response needs to be very different depending on their strategy. So he is about to start double pumping S2, get his expansion mining up right away. It is interesting. I've discovered over the past couple days that when I play Romulans, I would usually try to expand as fast as physically possible. But now I've actually realized that's not the best thing to do for Romulans, because they can't hold their expansion very well. They need to have at least 3 or 4 ships before they go expanding. And by not building your expansion, you do get 30 seconds a minute of faster production. Even the 2 freighters can slow down. Since your ability to produce ships as Romulans is so much higher than your income, your yard has the extra manufacturing power, and you will get ships out faster if you don't get your expansion right away. The Dominion, on the other hand, as I've said before, in 1 versus 1, they need 2 small yards. They absolutely need 2 small yards. And since you're doing that anyway, you might as well put one at your expansion. Which, once again ties back. When they reduced Dominion miner speed, that was actually part of weakening that strategy, because it was really easy to throw your first yard right here, and then you can basically cut the enemy off from your entire side of the map. And you can, you don't even have to mine this expansion. You can totally mine out of back here, but the fact that you have a forward yard allows you to intercept the enemy and defend yourself. So the Feds, on the other hand, they have their platforms. There goes Starfleet Command. He has one Monsoon out somewhere. And while the Monsoon, both the Monsoon and the S2 are anti-long range and short range ships, the S2 has the extra damage and then the large increased damage from short range. While the Monsoon, did he not build it? Am I missing it somewhere? Maybe he cancelled when he saw the Intrepid. When he saw the S2. Anyway, the Monsoon, it deals less damage to short range, but only by 10%. So the defensive passives have less drawback than the offensive passives. And there's an Intrepid. I think he cancelled the Monsoon. His warpins are going to be available, but he's not going to be able to attack with them because here come the S2s. I think, nope. He does have the money to upgrade, but he has to do it right now. And it's too late. If I were him, I would not upgrade now. Especially because the most important platform he has is the phaser platform. And these guys do 50% extra damage to long range, which is the phaser platform. So that's the beauty of S2, is they're a different kind of raider. They have torpedo and beam in about equal amounts. So they're okay against the miners, but they're really good against turrets and even against the storage dock itself. Whereas other things, like Lavals, Riens, they can kill the miners all day long, but they can't actually kill the structures. So these S2s, they're also glass cannons. Their defense is very low. So it's a very strangely balanced unit. You'll get tons of firepower. You'll be able to raid. You're very fast. But you really got to be careful that you don't lose them, because basically every major fight you go into, you can expect to lose at least 2 S2s. So we see Crisis. I wonder if he's getting his supply mining. He does seem to be using a lot of resources. No, he's just pumping still. He's just about saturated his entire expansion, which is good. He's going to have a ton of extra tritanium there, and we'll get to see what he does with that. And here, Dar actually went ahead and canceled his dock, but these large ships are going to do just fine. Now, I feel like it's a good idea to describe all of these relationships between these ships, because Feds versus Dominion, we don't see that matchup very often. So the Intrepid is a medium size. The S2 is actually small, despite having a larger model. And people say that's because it's the electronics package. It's less focused on, the Intrepid is more hardened and less focused on avoidance. But what this means is, even though the Intrepid and the S2 both have beam and torp firepower, the Intrepid, almost all of its firepower is focused in its torpedo. It's like 3/4 torpedo damage, 75-85%, around there. Whereas the S2 is an even split between beam and torp. So, the Intrepid actually, despite having those really nice defensive stats, and actually, by the way, let me just cover this real quick. This is a Breen avatar, which gives these guys a +2 attack bonus. And this is a Mason avatar, so these get defensive bonus. So even though the Intrepids are a lot more defensive than the S2s, and they can hold their ground, most of their damage is going to miss, because they have a 40% miss chance against the small S2s. So they're very effective defensively, but they can't hurt them too well. Meanwhile, these cruisers, I think, are all large. The Nebulas, I'm pretty sure, are large cruisers, which means they'll do quite okay. or I mean the S2s will do okay damage to them. And he didn't get any Excelsiors, which, the Excelsior is a mixed bag. It's long range, but it's also small, so it takes less damage from Torps, takes extra damage from this special. Basically, the S2 can handle everything the Warp-In produces. So, looking back, the S2 spam against Feds isn't such a bad deal at all. Even though the passives don't make it look like it's very good, because they take all that extra damage. And I have seen Monsoon spam be very effective against S2s, even though that's really hard for the Fed to pull off. You gotta do a lot of proxy torping and shut them down. But as it is here, these S2s are just too fast. That platform cancels. What he needs is a pulse platform, because it won't do much damage, but these S2s are so low defensive value that a pulse platform could still hurt them. And it won't take, it'll be basically impervious to them, because it takes only half damage from short range. And it isn't long range, so their passive doesn't apply. So yeah, here you see the Feds traveling back. This is where Dar needs to learn fleet positioning, which is one of the weirder and harder parts of fleet ops. What he needs to do is leave his ships right here in the middle of the two bases, and have scouts posted at both sides. He really does need to build a bunch of scouts, so that when he sees the S2s coming, he can react in time. Because these S2s are way faster than him. They're like 140, and these are all around 100. And plus he'll get this effect here, you see, where his fast ships get ahead and his fleet starts to separate into two groups, and they're easier to ambush. So Crisis is also really commanding the scouting game. I think his scout's repairing there. He has one over here. I think he lost, because I'm pretty sure I saw him get 3 scouts. Maybe it was just 2. But he's really boxing in Dar, slowly, methodically. He's got his ridiculous spam of S2s. None of them have died yet. He probably is going to pull out his prototype so it doesn't die. But he's got his critical mass that can kill anything really fast. He's faster than Dar's fleet, and he has better vision than Dar's fleet. Fortunately for Dar, he's Feds and can get his ships for free. So even if they're not that effective, he can always get them no matter how badly he's rated. And these platforms that he's been losing are really cheap. I mean, honestly, nothing has really died in this game. They're both just building up. I gotta say, it does amaze me to see a real-time strategy game where a faction can have 6 ships, more than half of its fleet, that it got for free, and still be balanced. And yet, I think it is balanced, because the Starfleet Command is so expensive to get to, and their other stuff builds so slowly. We still see Monsoon Intrepid, which, I don't know, I don't think it's a good idea to mix Monsoons in with Intrepids. If you're getting Monsoons, you should go pure Monsoons. If the enemy has long range, get some Monsoons. But the good part about the Monsoon is the proxy torpedo. And 1 or 2 Monsoons isn't going to be able to do that, because it's not even worth it to click the ability, because you're so focused on your micro. So these S2, they're sitting here, they're like, hey, we have torpedo firepower. We're just going to take out the mining dock and get away without any damage. Dar is just like, I don't really need Tritanium, guys. I'll just mine it over here. Oh wow, how many miners is this? 5, 6, 7, 8. Looks like he may have built some extra miners here. Meanwhile, his fleet is going in. He missed that there. He needs to use the sensor mode on these nebulas, though, because this is where, it's the disadvantage of the slower fleet. If Dar has enough ships to win a battle, he will kill all of the Fed ships, because his ships are faster and they can't get home. They can't retreat. Whereas if Dar outmasses Crisis, he might get 1 or 2 kills, but then Crisis can just run away because he has the faster fleet. But Crisis isn't going for it. He's coming down here. He's going to wipe everything out. This turret needs to upgrade right now, or else it won't do anything at all. There it goes, there it goes. They're focusing it down. So I think Crisis is going to take this. The Feds are on their way home, but it's a long trip. They should probably pass through that blue nebula, but it would be a lot of work to micro them through it. One constructor down. Platform didn't cancel. Now they're going for the yard. Oh, I was thinking they'd go for the miners first, but no. Like I say, they're S2s. They can probably afford to take out this yard before the feds come home and win the fight. Oh, but they're pulling off. Another thing to remember is, with Federation, 70% of their hit points is in their shields. So this is actually about half dead, because the shields are more than twice as much as the hull. So it may have looked like if this was Klingon, you know, that would be 2/3 alive. But this is half or less of its hit points right now. I really think you should have gone for it and just taken it down. And here come the slow feds, working their way back up, spreading out because their speed differences. This is not a happy place for Dar. Did I call you Zeb earlier? No, I don't think I did. I might have. This is Dar. This is Dar, everybody. On Tungle, he is Dark Liger. So that's interesting. Actually, Crisis' attack, because he was scared off by those Fed ships, his attack was actually relatively ineffective. He killed some platforms and killed a constructor, but he didn't really get what he wanted, which is all these miners in the yard. But the thing is, his fleet's just going to keep on getting bigger and bigger. And I do think he needs to get the prototype out of here, if he hasn't already. Prototype? I don't know. But now he's going to go, he's gone ahead and his income is pulled ahead of his S2 production, although he still needs some tritanium, which is kind of surprising to me. He has his supply mining up and he's bought. I'm just a bit confused as to why he would need that much tritanium. Oh, his tritanium moon got killed, okay. That explains it. So he also needs the tritanium for supply. But all he needs to do is he gets his alpha Ketracel white on one of these suckers, and yeah, they get a 30% damage bonus, which is 1, 2, yeah, I'm gonna try to count these. Everybody, let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Pretty sure that's 17. So 17 S2, 30%, is what? 3, 4, 5, yeah, so it really is like adding 5 ships to his fleet temporarily. I love multipliers. So yeah, when he pops Alpha Ketracel white, he adds the firepower of 5 ships to this fleet, bringing it up to like 22. And 22 S2s can kill a lot of stuff, as long as he's careful to only pop one Alpha Ketracel white, and not all of them at once, which would lower his crew to dangerous levels. That's why, one thing, if you ever get a Borg ally as Dominion, I really like to get the Mixtech yard, because the Mixtech F2 gets Gamma Ketracel white, which has the same effect but doesn't lower your crew, which means you don't have to worry about recrewing them, sending them back. So this is actually a very big Fed fleet. This is going to be, these S2s might be outmatched, meaning they're going to start dying. It's all up to how much damage he can lay down on these Feds while he goes out. But also, like I said, he's faster, so if he doesn't like what's going on, he can just leave. Ooh, and that was actually, that was Intrepid, I think. I could be wrong. Wow, so he just lost 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He just lost 3 S2s, maybe more, if he brought more. So that was actually a pretty decisive victory for Dar here. These S2s still coming out, but I think Crisis is considering transitioning. He does need to get his tritanium mining back up, though. So this is interesting, because while this S2 fleet completely dominated the early game, they are going to have trouble going into the mid game, because they just die faster, honestly. the amount of hit points in this fleet is significantly lower than the amount of hit points in this fleet. So the S2s, he just needed more of them. He got Tritanium blocked, and I mean, honestly, look at that. That's like at least around 10 S2s that he could have had. So you could say that Tritanium blow has shut down 10 S2s. Meanwhile, the Feds are feeling a bit capped because they are at 9 warp-ins. Oh, never mind, an Excelsior died. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Oh. 8. Oh, the Centaur died. Okay, so they are at 8 warp-ins, which means the next warp-in they can get 2 ships. But then after that they'll be at their 10 warp-in limit, and they won't be able to call anymore. So this is usually when a Fed player starts thinking about transitioning into an Errata yard, or expanding again, or he could just keep on pumping Intrepid Monsoon. He'd do okay. I think he needs to get a lot more Intrepids than Monsoons, though. Maybe send his fast ships out to raid, because Crisis has been mining. Say, his Tritanium is crap, but he has a ton of dilithium. All he needs to do is focus on it for a bit. He really, really needs to get guys over here. Say, that will just that'll make his production explode. He'd have so much better production. He did get Alpha Ketracel White, but his fleet is split. So he can't go into this battle, it's too dangerous. His S2s are divided in 2 places. And I'm hoping the Excelsior leaves. Nope, Sensor Nebula leaves. Whoosh. And now we have 10 warp-ins and a significant force of Intrepids. I think this fight over here a while back really determined it, because Crisis didn't do the damage he needed to. He should have killed everything here, and then taken out a vast amount of Dar's fleet, but he didn't. He didn't get the damage. And with equal production, if equal production of S2 and Fed roll, the Fed roll will win if you have the same number of moons each. This time I think he is going to see it and slaughter everything. Oh, he's got his guys on high weapon autonomy, so they fire automatically, which honestly is okay. These proxy torps and tricobalt torps, yeah, there's nothing wrong with them firing randomly. Now the S2s come in, though. Wonder if this platform upgrades. Oh, Crisis is doing it. He's going for the yard, and I don't know, but I think he's going to get it. He pops his Alpha Ketracel, keeps on focusing, taking some damage, but these Feds have got their kill. But it's not that important, not as important as this yard. This S2's taking a pounding, but he got it. A torpedo turret. Oh, wow. A torpedo turret. I don't even know what to say. That is going to be ridiculous damage. But it's also got a miss rate. What does this do? Okay, extra damage against medium range. Oh, ablative armor. Oh, wow. So basically, S2s can't kill this. It is impervious. It has 92 defense. It has 566 hull, which means around, like 1,200, 1,300 shields, and it takes half damage from S2. And it's artillery range, so they don't get a damage bonus. So they will not be able to kill that, although they might still kill the miners. And they can definitely keep this harassed. Now, okay. Dar is moving into his E2s. He just needs to build up the core of his Fed roll. Actually, what he needs to do now is go kill this expansion. He isn't scouting too well. He doesn't understand the incredible bind that Crisis is in with Tritanium. And is Crisis should be moving into a new prototype or a bigger yard shortly. Unless he just feels like pumping more S2s. But yeah, honestly, at this point, this Fed fleet, I don't think it needs this expansion. It can't defend, like, it's not worth it to keep your ships here and defend this place. You just need to go wipe this out again, wipe out this expansion, probably. Or at least do something to force these S2s to fight, because every time these S2s fight this Fed fleet, the Fed fleet will win. I mean, the Excel 2s will get auto-targeted, along with the Monsoons, and they'll get like 1 or 2 Monsoon kills, or they might even kill a Warp-In, which, at this point, Dar can just call a new Warp-In immediately. So, like, Dar stands to lose very little from a fight, whereas Crisis will lose a whole lot of ships if they fight right now. And it looks like Dar has figured this out. He's moving forward. He's gonna raid and start pressing his advantage. And it looks like I really called it wrong earlier, saying that Crisis was gonna take it. A bit more Starbase fire than you want. Remember, he has tons of dilithium, so he just instantly upgrades the offense to full. Doesn't cost him much there. Although all these Monsoons take less damage from long, which makes it really hard for the Starbase to take him down. Now the S2s are coming. They need to watch the Starbase fire. It's fully upgraded as well. Just stay on the other side. They are going to get an Erotti Yard, which is nice. Very nice prize. This, more importantly than the actual Erotti Yard, is the fact that it might demoralize Dar. Yep, it's forcing Dar to come back. Dar doesn't realize he doesn't even need to come back. He could just keep on raiding. Or he could try to cut off these S2s on their way home. But, yeah, he's fallen for it. Crisis has convinced him to come home. And now Dar only has the 1 yard as a repair yard, which once again is going to make Dar want to play defensively, even though he needs to be aggressive right now. He doesn't understand that he's got it. So, you know, future lesson, if Dar just scouted a little bit more. Oh, and the prototype died. See, you shouldn't have gone back to these though. I think you wanted bombers, or probably just larger ships. Heck, at this point, I think there's nothing he could use better than a hyperspace artillery. Like, it's totally worth it. Just get the Ketracel facility, get the hyperspace, because that's just the kind of thing you need to discourage this, to put Dar back on the defensive so you can build up. But he's getting his S2s and his large yard. So he is going to start putting some serious Dominion engineering into this. If he can hold this Tritanium, he could afford a second large yard and just double large yard V13s or something. Or even C17s. Okay, maybe not C17s. They do well against the ADAI. Let's see what stays for this Warp-In. Oh, that sucks. A Rigel type and a Centaur, and I think they're all going to leave. Yep. And Dar learns a valuable lesson about the 10 limit of the Warp-In limit of 10. Okay, here we go. This is going to be the final battle. These S2s are being harassed from a distance, but they can't really close in. And all the Intrepid Monsoons come around here. Which is actually, yeah, you see this fleet is free. If these S2s fight, the S2s will lose ships, and these guys will die, but they'll just get replaced instantly. For free. So there's the large yard. He is doing his repairing. Intrepid Monsoons are getting confused. V13, there it is. Wow. A little bit excessive there. The tricobalts and proxies. They really, really wanted to get that scout. Oh, I see, and Crisis has retreated the prototype. He is afraid to even leave the prototype near his starbase, because it could be sniped so easily. That's a vulnerability of the Dominion. Those Intrepid Monsoons will probably snipe that prototype pretty effectively. Now Crisis is coming in. He gets an Excel. That's going to die, but he has a good chance of wiping all this out, which is really cool. But like I say, they're all free ships. And every S2 he loses really hurts him. Has he popped Alpha Ketracel White? I think he has. Yeah, it seems like it. Keep on chasing, kill them all. Yes, you're going to lose your expansion. I'm sorry it's too late for that, but at least you can get some kills over here. Base trade is my take on it anyway. This V13 prototype might make it out and then die. It'll be sad. Oh no, the S2s are coming back. Alright, here we go. These S2s that come in first, they just melt. Some nasty face melting going on here. One S2 out of position, but man, just so tough. The defense on these guys is just so high. Stupid Mason Monsoons with their 22 defense. Make my Romulan projectile weapons not do extra damage. Alright, so, you know, warping in a minute. That'll replenish the 4 warpins he lost. And he's happily pumping again. Intrepid Monsoon. If it works, why not? If it works, keep going with it. In fact, his fleet is big enough, he might be able to get some upgrades that would really help out, although he is low on tritanium. Man, he's been mining out of 2 dilithium, 1 tritanium for a very long time, since he hasn't gotten this one saturated yet. He did lose his Urartu Yard. And there's the V13 prototype is out, and they're making more. It is interesting, the Intrepid is sort of the Dragoon of the Fleet Ops world. It's that early game ship that remains viable in the end, just like StarCraft Dragoons. Or even though it was your basic Stargate unit, you'd still keep them around, and you could still build them at the end, especially once they were upgraded. But because of this ADAI, they'll be very well defended against the V13s, because it is medium range, sadly. So, both players are really rolling in cash, at least rolling in dilithium. Like I say, I think Crisis can totally afford... Oh, I see, and this is his little prototype nook, the green nebula. Not a bad idea. Okay. Ah, warp-in. Aggravating warp-ins. These guys both have repair orders. Yeah, they're gonna get that one, but not that one. Oh yes, 1 Intrepid out of position. Free kill. And run away. Oh, there's the Ambassador tanking the starbase fire. Totally fine. Oh, this is an interesting chase. All 3 missed. Ouch. These tricobalt torpedoes actually have area damage now, but I think it's a very small area. Watch the torpedo launcher. Ow. Yeah, he can get some kills here. Kill Intrepid, kill Intrepid. No, 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 no! No, it has a blade of armor. It has a blade of armor. You cannot kill it. Oh man, and that Alpha Ketracel, the damage coming output of these S2s is incredible. But, oh, the torpedo platform just drinks it up like it's nothing. See, what special do these guys get? These guys get a nice special. Oh, okay. So yeah, it has a pulse cannon on it now. But the veteran ability is the good one. The veteran one is where it disables weapons on ships that have torpedoes. And it causes internal explosions. Which, a lot of these ships have torpedoes. Not the monsoons, but not the monsoons, not the sensors. But the Torpnebs, Galaxies, Intrepids, E2s, and Ambassador, they all have torpedoes. In fact, I wonder if you can use a Vet S2 to shut down the weapons on a torpedo platform. That'll be very interesting. Because as a general rule, sometimes defensive passives protect from things like that. For example, ships with long-range passives like tactical weapon arrays or high-density shield generators don't get disabled by DODs because they have an anti-long-range passive. It protects them from that. So now I wonder if the torpedo platform, because it's a platform or because it has a blade of armor, if it's still affected by that. We'll just have to see if he can get a veteran S2 and show us. We do have two V13s without their special. Oh, come on, get the special, it's awesome. He's going to have to buy supply, though. Ironically, he now has a ton of tritanium. Instead of building new miners to go over to that tritanium, he just moved these ones over because he figured he had too much dilithium. Which is one thing you just got to remember in this game. No matter how much extra you have, that isn't a good enough reason to stop mining. I don't care if you have 6,000 dilithium, you might need more. I mean, hey, what if you spend 6,000 dilithium on ships, and all of a sudden you need more? There go the proxy and Tricobalt torps. Proxy's doing tons of damage. Tricobalt's mostly missing. The V13s, honestly, I think this fleet can probably take the Dominion, but the V13s are intimidating Dar. He's like, oh snap. And just because of the terror, because he's convinced Dar to retreat, he's going to get some really good kills here. Oh, Dar turns around though. This is going to be rough. No, Dar, you're being intimidated. You can kill him. Oh, this is interesting. They're dancing back and forth. The S2s are taking a lot of damage. They're also dealing a lot of damage. These V13s have not been hit by... Oh, yes, they have. They did get hit by Alpha Ketracel White. And now Chris is just getting annoyed because he knows he's going to die. Did that... Oh, no, we didn't get a veteran S2. Yeah, so Dar's going home. He's going to repair, consolidate his position, build a freaking ton of turrets, and an Irati yard. It's okay. When you're playing against a player who's been around a lot longer than you, like Crisis has in this case, it can be a bit intimidating. It can be like, once you think, even when you have the advantage, it can be hard for a person to realize they have the advantage. And that actually plays in the older player's favor, because the person thinks they're better, and thus plays not as well against them. You can't let yourself be intimidated by your enemy, because in this case, Dar's won. He has the bigger fleet. He can take this out. And it's just gonna take him a while to realize that. And then when he does, he'll come and kill everything. And then next game, he won't be intimidated anymore. Poor Scout. Return and warn the Founders. Man, these things are launching a lot of Tricobalt torps. But the fleet is not here. Fleet is coming, though. Do we get to see an excessive strike? No excessive strike researched. I love excessive strike, especially against Feds, because it does direct hull damage and Feds have weak hulls. Yeah, at this point, even though they're right next to the yard, the S2s can't get into the yard before they die, because it's like 3 seconds from when they start taking fire to when they die. Become the awesome V13s. Boom, boom. I'll try to keep track of which Fed ships die. There's one. Oh, veteran! Let's read it. Plus 13% damage. Plus 50% chance. Oh, he's gonna go raid with it. Yeah, that's actually a really fun ability though. The 13% damage against torpedoes and chance to disable weapons. That can actually be very effective, like against Tavara or Dideridex, you know, hide the torpedo Romulan warbirds. Because if you disable their weapons, they can't cloak. Even though otherwise the Tavara would have a supreme cloak that you can't detect anything, and it can cloak in 1 second. One veteran S2 and it's shut down. Now they're taking out the V-13s, which would have a chance of repairing, except they're going to get physics blocked, which is a bit annoying. Let's see if this one gets into the yard. Go, Crisis, tell it to repair right now. He goes. He orders it. It turns. It's going. It's going. It's in! Amazing. Of course, they might kill it under the repair. No, they're going away. Also, this dude's just killing stuff. Let's go back here. Oh, he got in the yard again. Oh, but they're just gonna overwhelm him. Sad. No, no. What's Dar doing? Wants to kill some stuff. Kill some stuff. Maybe he meant to attack the yard. So yeah, I'm expecting to see the GG any minute now. So I'm just gonna go ahead and sign off and just watch the rest of this thing so you can enjoy it. So, and then I think they're gonna play a rematch, maybe. So yeah, this is Triptych signing off. Hey, I thought the Mason torpedo was supposed to split fire. Oh, maybe it only splits fire if there's multiple options, but if there's only one target, it fires all of them with that one. I want to take a look at that, because I was sure it only would fire one torpedo per ship. Anyway, back off.
User joined your channel.
Hey guys, so what did you think?
Hey, Triptych, crazy game.
That was,
User
man,
I'm
joined
obviously
your channel.
not the best ST swimmer on the face of the earth, that's for sure.
I really thought you had him in the beginning there.
Yeah, I did, but that intrepid monsoon fleet just got out of control.
Well, there was that one time when you were sitting on his left expansion, and you should have killed it all. But then,
Well, yeah, but his fleet was coming. I was trying to
I
avoid
know.
his fleet. That was my purpose the entire game, was just
Yeah, but,
avoid the fleet.
well, the thing is, in
Yeah.
that case, you were faster than him. So even if he showed up right there, you still could have gotten away.
Yeah, I like to have some distance, that way I could strike again on the other side of the map. I used this tactic against Funny yesterday. I was Borg and he was Romulan, and he almost had me in the beginning. He'd killed all of my fleet, and I just figured, I make strafing runs across his entire front. I started at one end
Exactly.
and worked my way across the other. He couldn't catch up, and I could just kill as many miners at whim.
The thing is, you got to make sure you get the kills, and that time,
Right. I
That's
mean,
the
I
other
didn't get
thing
the
is-
yard that time, but I went back and finished it later.
yeah, you got to remember, because of how many hit points they have in their shields, when a Federation yard is like at the near the bottom of its shields, it's almost dead. So I don't think
Right,
you
right.
realized how close to dying that one was.
All I realized is I had my scout there, and there's this big blob of red headed toward me
Yeah,
that just doesn't die.
yeah. I think if you
Oh.
had taken out that expansion, you would have had a much better situation.
Problem was I couldn't get my economy right. There was like part of the game where I stopped S2 production completely
yeah.
to try and get my economy back on my feet, and I had like 6,000 dilithium
Yeah.
and 800 tri.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
just tipped over that much dilithium, yeah, and you weren't mining out of your home titanium for so long.
yeah, I know. I couldn't get miners back over there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have so many resources. What do I do? So I was just like, I'm dead anyway. Let's just tech up to V13.
Dar, are you still here?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
still
yeah.
here.
What did
Yeah.
you think?
Oh, I think I tried to get him with my whole fleet, and then I tried to split my fleet to catch him here and attack there. And I think it worked at time.
Well, there's a point where you split your fleet, and I was like, ooh, yay, warpins just flying off in the middle of nowhere. And then I looked back, and you were just eating my expansions. So I was
Yeah.
like, oh gosh.
This was triple. So I put my warp in just for attacking.
Yeah.
Did my one half of the fleet on the other side, and one half of the fleet in the near of your scout so you can see it.
Yeah, and that's what you got to
Did
do
you notice-
actually, is split
Was
your
quite
ships
funny.
into slow ships.
Oh, yeah. Did you notice the tricks I was doing with the miner's replace weapon?
I didn't
You
What,
see
notice
what
that.
that?
bit?
Didn't? Bummer.
I was wondering if you were though, because I wasn't, clicking on the miners much.
Yeah, I was. I was trying to do that because whenever he attacked, if I didn't do that, I was guaranteed to lose all my miners.
Anyway, do you guys want to go again? I'm fixing to.
Yeah, sure. I'm gonna play Borg the next time though.
Okay, I'll go ahead and finish up the
I
replay
can't
now
I
then.
can't handle the Dominion's ability, so.
Okay, then we'll
But
be
it's
back in
right.
just a couple minutes.